Hey, how you doing? I'm doing just fine. I lied, I'm dying inside.
Well, if you saw that, then basically it's clear that I'm having a mental breakdown. Yeah, I am. I am just, my brain's like all fused. Basically, it's like there's a lot of stuff that's going on other than reading in my life right now. And it's mainly called work because I need a day job to pay for that, all of those stuff. And books are not cheap. So basically, yeah, I'm busy doing my day job these days. But anyway, that's like a usual story. However, however, let's talk about the books that I read in the past week and the ones that I'm reading as of now. So, where do we start? Okay, so let's start with the book that I missed to mention in my last weekly reads, which I had finished, but then I could not. I it literally slipped my mind. I apologize. And the book that I finished in the last to last week, that is, it is this one. This is the last lecture by Randy Posh, which is kind of a self-help book, and I was on a self-help role for that particular week. Basically, what's this book about? It's a book about the late Professor Randy Posh, who was actually teaching computer science um, at a university. I think he was at Carnegie Mellon. Yes, he was at University of Pennsylvania before, and then he moved to Carnegie Mellon. And basically, it's his story, the lessons that he learned in his life, and unfortunately, he passed away due to pancreatic cancer. So it's like a bunch of like life lessons, and if life lessons is something that interests you, if you're looking for something that's uplifting, something that kind of is it's not a feel good read for sure because it's a sad read. It's about a dying man, but then the point is that although he was dying, he was kind of very positive about life in general. Like, he was aware that he's going to pass away in a few months. He has very limited time, but you get my mind. You get this point. Like, it's a nice read. I liked it. It's not bad. But honestly, if you ask me for a rating for this book, I would like shy away from rating it because it's a memoir, and how can I? Although I did rate it on the other hand, but you know everyone's experience reading this book would be pretty different. So I encourage you to try it only and only if the topic is interesting for you. But if self-help or something is not your, or for that matter, if you're not in the mood for life lessons, don't read this, because I'm not a fan of self-help, but I like the life lessons that were mentioned in the book. So yeah, that's that. And that being said, the next book that I finished in the past week was this one. This is People on Our Roof by Shefali Tripathi Mehta, which I really liked a lot. Okay, so basically, what's this book about? This book is about Naina, and Naina's mother is has been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and her sister is autistic. And we are talking about the late 90s, early 2000s here, where mental health was like even a more bigger stigma per se. In India specifically, it's still a stigma, and it's like at that time also it was much worse than what it is today. And it's kind of like a coming of age story, a chick lit book which talks about how this one girl has to deal with things after graduating. And yeah, it's like a nice book. I do recommend it if you're looking for something that's very much homegrown, like Shefali Mehta writes in a very nice manner. I like her writing, and this is my second book of hers. Some kind of, I'm not up to date, but then I know she has like 3-4 books around. I've read Stuck Like Lint, and I read this also. So I like this more than Stuck Like Lint. So yeah, that's that. And also this is published by Niyogi Books, and I really like Niyogi Books a lot. So yeah, that's that. Okay, cool. So now let's get to the books that I'm reading currently, because that is where I have been really lagging. Okay, so the first book that I am kind of I think I'm like 30 to 40% done with is this one. This is The Death Script by Ashutosh Bharadwaj. It's Dreams and Delusions in a Naxal Country, and it specifically talks about Ashutosh Bharadwaj's experience living with the Naxals as well as dealing with the police in the Red Belt, or in the you know, in and around Bastar, which is in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, like that area. So it basically talks about how the tribal people there live, and his experience with the violence that erupts there. And the book is written in a very, I would say, unique format for a non-fiction. Like, it's pretty much well written, and it's more like diary entries as well. Also, first person accounts of ex-Naxalites who are now informers for the police, and how they have to live in that form of dichotomy, because the villagers who kind of side with the Naxals know them. And it's really eye opening, and it kind of teaches you that the situation is not gray, is not black and white, it's actually gray. So if you're looking for Indian non-fiction, this is the book that I highly recommend. Also, this has been shortlisted for the NIF Book Prize. I came across this book first when I was making my long list video for the NIF Book Prize, my long list reaction video. It's in the description box. If you're a fan of Indian political or historical non-fiction, then there are a lot of books in that list that will really interest you a lot. So yeah, that's that. The next book that I'm 26% through is actually Cobalt Blue by Sachin Kundalkar. And honestly, this has been on my TBR since ages, like ages. And every time, like, I sit and make a TBR for a month, yes, I do make like a mental TBR, although I don't make a TBR video. I decided that I have to like read it in August. I decided I had to read it in September, but I never got the chance. But finally, what pushed me to read it was the Netflix movie that's coming up, and I'm really looking forward to actually finishing the book because it's that engrossing. Like, you read like 1 or 2 pages of the book. So I'm reading it on my Kindle, by the way. And if when you read like 1 or 2 pages of the book, it's like you're just engrossed, okay, no matter how tired you are. And that's the only book that I'm able to read this week, especially with work and stuff like that. So I highly recommend Cobalt Blue if you've not read it yet, for sure. That being said, the next book that I am again like 30% through is Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. If you don't know, I already read the first, I finished the first book in the Dune series. I don't think I'll watch the movie, or maybe I'll watch the movie when it's available on TV. But the point is that I'm going a bit like so I'm lagging behind with this book, simply because it's kind of time consuming. When you read like the Dune series, you kind of realize how much like time it sucks from your daily life, really, honestly. So I think I'll read it like, I'll keep this on hold for now and read the other books and then read everything else later. And that being said, the next book that I'm reading is an audiobook, and the audiobook that I'm reading currently is On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, which is kind of a poetry book, of course, and it's basically a letter to his mother. So he is Vietnamese American, and his mother is, of course, Vietnamese, and it talks about like their struggles in the US, and how she was, I would say, it talks about a lot of things. Like, you cannot summarize it, right? But the prose is very beautiful, it's very nice, and it's very interesting. Although the audiobook can get confusing at times and I like lose my attention here and there, I'm still like through 20% of the book, so that's good news. So yeah, but that being said, those are the 4 books I'm reading right now. It's time for me to slow down a bit with my reading because a lot of things are happening around me. I'm so tired, literally. But that being said, yeah, that's it. These are the books I'm reading currently. I hope to get back with the weekly reads next week as well. And the year is supposed to end, and I have a lot of books to read. So you see this line? Those are the books I really want to read before the year ends, but I don't think I can do that. But anyway, let's see. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.